I'm going to be talking about my recent 9-day dry fast. I've just finished the fast. I'm on the 4th day of the refeed, so I'm still in the energy of it, and I thought I'd make a video now while I'm still kind of in it rather than later. And I'm going to talk about what I went through in the fast, the journey of the fast, what was helpful, what was not helpful, and all the different parts of it. And then at the end of this talk, I will teach holographic breathing, and that is what enables me to do fasting. It's what I use for processing everything and flushing out the organs and massaging the whole body, and just it just enables dry fasting. Kind of holographic breathing and dry fasting just go together as a perfect match. That is useful to everyone, not just to dry fasters, and this video will be useful to everybody, not just dry fasters. I normally teach holographic breathing for healing. I will describe it and demonstrate it, so at least you know what holographic breathing is. Then I will go into the talk, and I hope it will be useful for you. So, holographic breathing, the lips are relaxed and closed, the tongue is on the roof of the mouth, the upper surface of the tongue on the roof of the mouth, the breath is through the nose, and on the in-breath with the lips closed and with the tongue on the roof of the mouth all of the time. With all that in place, on the in-breath the jaw is opening, and on the out-breath the jaw is closing, with this all closed. There'll be a guided meditation to take you into that, because it is an activation. It's an activation where it just starts, and a bit like riding a bike. It's hard to do that breathing motion of the jaw just by yourself, but when I talk people into it, there's a way of activating it so it just goes, and we'll be doing that, and I'll be teaching you some different dynamics that are very useful for healing and very useful for dry fasting. I'll demonstrate it so you can see that it's a very gentle breath work, that the lips stay closed, and that it is meditative. So I'll just demonstrate it for a few breaths. So it is deeply relaxing, deeply meditative. Instantly I just go into an altered state or a deeper state of consciousness and meditation. And in that meditation state, it is, as I said, very useful for dry fasting. So I dry fast at the moment every equinox and every solstice for 9 days. I started to help with the after effects of Lyme disease, maybe to clear Lyme disease. I think I got rid of it, but I still had the after effects. And I have just felt it very beneficial, and just continued and just gone deeper and deeper with it. And something I feel that it aids my life and my health. Now, I take no responsibility for anybody. Do your own research. This is in no way medical advice or anything like that. It is just information. If you decide to do a dry fast, research it properly for yourself and contact your health practitioner. For myself, I built up slowly. I didn't just do a 9-day dry fast. I built up over 18 months or something like that. I just did 1 day, waited a week, 2 days, waited 2 weeks, 3 days, waited 3 weeks, 4 days, waited 4 weeks, and continued. I repeated some of those where I was finding it a little bit difficult. And then after about 18 months, I did a 9-day dry fast. And that seems to be my limit. At least I don't want to go more than that. I'm more inclined now to go less than that. But I think I've reached my limit. I might go further, who knows. But I built up to it very slowly. I didn't go on any of these retreats. I just did it my own way, as my own retreat and healing, really. So, coming up to this dry fast, I wasn't sure if I was going to do this because I was feeling quite good and I felt like I had cleared properly the Lyme disease and the after effects pretty well. But my mother had died a couple of months ago and I thought it would help with the after effects of that. And also, as I was coming up to it, I just had the worst ever flu that I couldn't get rid of. And I knew that if I went on a dry fast after 3 or 4 days, it would just be gone. It may be painful for those 3 or 4 days, but whatever flu bug I have, if I do a dry fast, it is gone and it doesn't come back. And that is what happened with that. And it was stopping me working. It was giving me, I don't know what it was, but it was giving me heart palpitations. So I thought, well, yes, I will. I had a lot of things I needed to do, but I thought, no, I'm just going to do a dry fast and take 2 weeks off and go into it. And there was, I did one bit of advice. First bit of advice is to learn holographic breathing to go on your fast. It is such a beneficial. It makes everything more easily. So that is one bit of advice. Another bit of advice is to spiritually set it up in advance. It may not go the way you think it's going to go, but notice what you would like to work with. And I wanted to work with my health, to get my immune system back together. I wanted to understand what was energetically happening around my mother's death. And I wanted to clear more levels of the Lyme disease. And I put those out to spirit. If you don't believe in that kind of thing, it's still good to vision it for yourself, what you would like to do. So I vision it and I put that out to spirit and say, I want to do this, and I quite like some help actually. Why not accept help when you can get it, if it is there? And it's always there when I ask. So I have put that out in the beginning. And for me, the first 3 days, if you can do the first 3 days, you're kind of home and dry as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I did build up slowly, but for me, the first 3 days are the worst. And then the 8th and the 9th day, it kind of changes gear. It gets much deeper, seems to work with the endocrine system and brain, and that also I find hard to be with. So for me, I like to do long ones because the first 3 days are the worst. So if I'm going to do those, I might as well make it worthwhile. So and I do it a day at a time. If something coming up and it really seems like it's good to stop this, then I will stop. You know, I do blood work to make, you know, to look at the ketones, to look at my heart rate and pressure. And I didn't do that. Well, I did it occasionally. I did it once a day, once every other day with this fast. Normally I would be doing that twice a day religiously all the way through, but I really felt okay. And it was reminding me how long, you know, if you're doing it every day, it becomes a reminder of how long you continue. Oh, it's the 5th day or half, you know, it brings you back into time. So I didn't do that because I felt okay inside and I'd done it enough to trust myself, and I could, you know, felt like my heart was beating more fast or the pressure was going up and down. I would have done that, or if I was really, really tired, I would have looked at the ketones and blood sugar, but I did very little of that, and it was all perfect each time I did those. Now, as I say, it was, I'll give you kind of the journey I went through, because it's similar each time. And what is very rewarding for me is that, you know, in the first 3 or 4 days, I'm going through whatever I'm going through there in the change into ketosis and all the different physiological things that happen there. But also in those first 3 or 4 days, I'm clearing any bugs, you know, not deep bugs, but you know, everyday colds and flus, they all disappear in the first 4 days. And as I say, I had a really, really horrible kind of nervous system type flu. It was quite deep, and I really was not getting rid of it. So that added to the mix. So the first 3 days were a lot more painful, but after that it was gone. The flu wasn't there. The heart palpitations it was giving me had gone. My heart felt good. Everything felt good. And then normally after that it is clearing, I guess, the different entities leaving and spiritual things leaving that I can't really describe or speak of, but it is clearing childhood illnesses. I had some kind of accident, and I'll talk about everything, including the energetic things happening with my mother and how that came through, because I really wanted spiritual understanding of that. But the first thing it interacts with normally is my stomach. And around the age of 23, 22, 23, 1, I gave up drugs. 2, I was a bit mad. 3, I got a hiatus hernia. And from having a very stable and strong digestive system, when I got this hiatus hernia, I always had an upset stomach. I didn't know that I had a hiatus hernia. I didn't know what had happened. But I think it also, something happened to the pancreas, affected the pancreas, and maybe that was to do with the drugs as well, but whatever happened there, something happened with my pancreas, something happened with my stomach, something happened with my digestion, in that it was always upset and it had affected my back, it put my back out. And kind of day 4 and 5 and 6, it's working through different layers of that. And one is right into the spleen at the back and into the stomach at the front. But before, in the, you know, because I've done 6 now, 6 9-day dry fasts. On the previous, it's just got less and less, and this time was very little there. There was just one bit where just really working into the spleen and into the middle of the back, and that was very painful, and it felt like it was going to go on forever. But after about half a day, that had just worked through, which was amazing. It gratifies me that on dry fast it clears stuff and they stay gone. They don't come up in the same strength in the following fasts. And another thing that came up very strongly in the first few was I had pneumonia, then asthma, and then bronchitis. I got the pneumonia when I was 4, then I always had asthma after that, and bronchitis, weak lungs. And that was also to do with my mother. I mean, she was a big smoker, so always smoking in the house, but also she was very abusive, verbally and physically abusive woman. I got hit a lot, told, what a terrible person I was all of the time. And that related, I feel, into the lungs and also into this stomach thing. It affected my stomach. And I was told by a healer, and I had feelings of it, because I've been a healer for a long time, that she had tried to abort me at, quite late on, kind of 3 months, 2-3 months, with alcohol. That's what he said. He was called Rudy, very, very powerful healer. He brought through a thing called Tibetan pulsing, which also integrates and works with holographic breathing. And I feel him there as a healer, or at least his channel, or who he was connected to, or whatever. There's still some kind of healing that comes through that. But he had said that, and that kind of registered, because my mother would laugh about that. She would say, oh yes, if you women lie in a bath with 2 or 3 bottles of gin to have an abortion. She would kind of laugh about it, and I got the feeling, because it was very hard marriage. Well, I think everyone finds my mother hard work. So it was just screaming and shouting all of the time. I was getting hit every day, screaming at my father all of the time. I was the scapegoat, really. I was the only one who got hit. And then the terrible person. So I feel all of that contributed to the weak lungs and the upset in the stomach, then the hiatus hernia. And that wasn't there at all. The chest, the bronchitis and the pneumonia and the remembrance of that, which was there on the first, second, third dry fast, just wasn't there. It had kind of cleared. And ever since then, because up until then, every time I got a cold, every time I got flu, it would go on to my chest. Because I guess whatever the illness was, or whatever the bacteria was, or whatever the virus was, or whatever the emotions were from when I was a child and had that pneumonia and bronchitis and weak chest, that would always come to the surface if I was ill, and I would rework that and get a bad chest. And ever since then, ever since those first dry fasts, I have to say I haven't had any chest infections, none, which were totally part of my life, and I hated it because it was an emotional upset chest infection, and every time. So that had gone. It was just up to that point was the pain in the spleen, which I think, again from the Tibetan pulsing, we work with different organs, and I resonate from the spleen. And you know, when we're born, quite often either from a past life or from the birth process, or something happens in that transition, and one organ gets affected more than others, and I think that had affected my spleen, and also that left kidney, and that worked through and was just gone, which was great. And it's good that that finishes early, you know, on the 5th day, because that means I've got 4 days where it's totally gone and I'm past it and better from it. Probably comes back a bit in the refeed, but for it to be totally gone and get used to being gone, that is quite a good reason for doing longer dry fasts, because everything is better for longer rather than better and then you refeed and it comes back. But what did come up again, and quite strongly, but I was pleased with it because it was so vivid, was the quality. I got 2 doses of Lyme disease, neurological Lyme disease, one in India and one in Germany, and each one was along with the tick bite. There's a chest infection, but like a neurological chest infection. It's affecting the brain, the endocrine system, and the lungs. And I go through it quite a lot when in holographic breathing, because it's the tiredness. And this is what I want to get rid of, is the tiredness from the Lyme disease. I think the actual bugs have gone, but it's still, the memory of it is still in my system. And what there is this profound tiredness that really gets into the thyroid and the glands and the endocrine system. And I felt the deep tiredness in the throat. It's also, for me, in the testes. For the women, it'll be the ovaries, but it's the kidneys, the pancreas, the spleen, the different glands. It's the endocrine system, but it's deep, like you've got entities drawing every ounce of strength, kind of like getting me here. It feels like the deep tiredness. And that tiredness gives, as the kundalini releases through those organs, through the endocrine system, and it works its way through the throat, works its way through the thymus gland and the thyroid, and then up through the brain. And as soon as it's going through the brain, the tiredness here leaves, but you can feel the brain damage. Feel the brain damage from the Lyme disease and how the Lyme disease is affecting the brain. Now, I'm saying is as a memory, because when I'd let it go through before, I could, you know, early on I feel it's still there attacking it. But then later on, because it's damaged the glial cells, the brain cells, it's still there as a reality in the brain and in the nerves. And for me, another reason to do 9 days is that is my experience, is that it works from the body, kind of get to the 7th And then running into the 8th day, it changes from being generally through the body to working into the endocrine system, the nervous system and the brain. It goes up a level and starts clearing those levels. So if you've got diseases of the brain, of the nervous system, of the endocrine system, for me, I may be wrong, but for me it is important to do more than 7 days, because for me, on the 8th day, I make that transition to where it's clearing through the brain. But it was a perfect reminder of that initial tiredness, and then it clears the throat, and then you feel it in the brain, and you feel, you don't want, there's the closing down, because you don't want to feel, because it's like death, you're going to die, because it's killing your brain. And there's a, you know, don't feel that. I forgot what the word is, but you know, put it out of your consciousness, but you allow yourself to feel the brain damage and the disease if it's still there. And as that all goes through, that opens up through the deeper infection of the lungs, which was, you know, with each tick bite that I got, those 2 tick bites, there's this inflammation of the lungs, deep tiredness and pain through the brain, and then that becomes a permanent thing, and the brain becomes permanently inflamed, and the lungs and spine and nervous system become permanently inflamed, because they've got these spirochetes in there attacking everything, and they program the cells so that to destroy your immune system and to stop you getting a temperature, things like that. So this time it gave such a precise picture, and it was so nice to feeling it going through the brain, and then this new energy just going through the brain, clearing through the nervous system, through the thyroid, through the chest. And again, it was good to have a day and a half after that to be better from it, to be through it, rather than just get through it and then start eating again, that you're well for 1 or 2 days afterwards. So you've got time to become used to that and keep clearing that, and for your body to remember that it is better. And at the same time as that, I started getting the karma from my mother, because even though, I mean, she knew what she was doing, very calculated, but on another level, I think she was a bit insane. I mean, she was I mean, this may sound not nice, but it's just as it is. You know, obviously she's my mother, and obviously there's a connection there and love on one level or another there. But on another level, she was a physically abusive narcissist, and to everyone. After my brother left home, he never spoke to her again. Everybody had the same story. It's not like I'm just making this up. And I talked a lot with my brother, because, you know, I was all so gaslit. Oh, it's not true, it's not this, it's, you know, I went off and got therapy afterwards. And I said, well, it's not normal to be hit every day like that. I know a lot of people do get it, but, you know, that's not, you know, it's not healthy. And I'd say, look, you hit me every day. Well, I hit you? No, I didn't hit you. That never happened. No, you're making it up. I did, you know, because I knew I had been hit, but I thought, well, maybe I've expanded it a bit, my brain. And I spoke to my brother, and he said, no, you got hit, and it was not pretty. And scapegoated, really, as I was this terrible person and blamed for everything. So she died a few months ago, and then being kind of a psychic and used to connecting to the other side. I thought, well, does that open me to having my mother visiting? Because even though she did all of that stuff, she still wanted her children. You know, do anything to have her children back, even though everyone had left. That is she going to be popping in? And what is the appropriate way of dealing with that? And how to be with that? And is she going to try and use me in some way as, you know, to help her through to the other side? Maybe I think I probably did help with that a bit, to be honest. But you know, have I got any boundaries in this, or protection in this, or say in this? I didn't know what was happening energetically. Now I think it's very different if you've got a good relationship with a parent and they die, because you actually want to speak to them, you want them around. But that wasn't my case. You know, I did visit my mother and I wouldn't have liked to have broken off completely. But it was under my control before that time. And I was feeling her a lot, and I didn't know whether, is this memories? Now that she's died, am I just releasing all of that karma and I'm not actually feeling her, I'm feeling the karma within me leaving, or is she coming in and I'm feeling her? And I didn't know. My guess was, because I've been working with it a couple of months before, was that to the main part, it was my memories of that karma, of what had happened, of the energies of my mother releasing out of me. And by pushing it away, saying, oh no, I don't actually want you around all of the time, you know, once or twice it's okay, but you know, not all of the time, you know, or when I want it actually. I kind of, no, the only way I've got any power in this, and what I think is true, was that it was the energetic memories of her and her energy, which wasn't comfortable because it came with hard trauma and memories. And at a point, and it was on the 7th day, so on the 8th day, so again it was good that I did go on, because when I started I thought maybe I'll finish at 7 days. It does seem a bit drastic doing all of these 9 days, but that started coming to the surface very strongly on the 8th day. And I could feel it coming up strongly, and I asked for spiritual health. I mean, that is some advice I give to anybody who's happy to ask for spiritual health. Something comes up on a dry fast, ask for spiritual help. And it isn't just abstinence from food and water for me, it's abstinence from everything. I don't talk to anyone, I don't socialize, I don't see anyone, I just go on a retreat by myself. So I asked for help, and it was whether it's Rudy or not, I don't know, but his energy, that type of energy came in, and I think it may be him and other people or other beings or higher realms, because I guess, you know, I've got all of my connections, maybe he's got, you know, whatever. But anyway, this came in and helped. And I just treated it as if it was my own. And it was interesting because it related to holographic breathing and it related to the organs. And I always felt that my mother resonated from the liver. And I could feel it resonating in my liver. The memories of her and her energies was reminding me or resonating with the energies of my liver. And there's just this tightness and deep clearing through my liver as I allowed that. Whether it's her or not, I don't know, but I don't think it was. I just think that trauma, that quality, whatever it was just of my liver, and in a way by pushing it away for years and not wanting to go near it. You know, it's not like I've never gone into it, but generally I push it away. It had stayed there, and it worked through that, and it was the liver and pancreas, and they're what we're actually working with in the advanced webinars. If anyone wants to do those, you know, click on the link in the description below. And allowing that and allowing it to be a memory brought me in contact with that same quality in myself and in my liver and pancreas. And rather than thinking, oh, this is bad, this is a trauma, in the same way as you would channel light through yourself or higher energies, I just channeled the karma of that situation, and it just worked perfectly through my liver and pancreas, probably for half a day or so. It just was clearing and clearing, and it wasn't just clearing the memories of my mother, you know, which is more of a therapy type thing. It was also going into a positive state where it was bringing forth kind of my internal female and the intrinsic qualities of my liver and pancreas. So it gave me a key to, like, however I felt about my mother or perceived her energies or perceived that quality in myself was a key to open up into my own intrinsic energies in the liver and pancreas, which fundamentally underpin our constitution, and were just bringing them to life as health. And that went on for about half a day, and that just cleared and cleared, and then I got much better access to my energies and those energies of that area. And then that worked up through the brain and connect to the divine realms. And for about a day, you know, I could be in that, clearing that mother, but at the same time, just this divine energy pouring through me. So what seemed like a trauma became a key to cleanse my liver and pancreas and to connect to the divine energies just coming through me. You know, quite often I go into a divine state on a dry fast, but this was in spades. You know, it was just beautiful. So that which we push away becomes our gift. And so it was good that I made that initial thing when I started with the higher self, beneficial energies, divine energies, myself, that I wanted to work with my mother, because it brought it to the surface. And I understand. Well, it's not that I understand, you know, that it's on a different level now. It's no longer a problem, because rather than debating if it's my mother or if it's me or if it's that or if it's not, now I can just use that to clear my liver and pancreas, and probably over a period of time and connect to the divine realms, it will clear through a lot of things. I can use it as a healing meditation rather than an affliction. So in a way, I had got what I wanted, and I had got what I wanted in that I cleared another level of the Lyme disease, and I got what I wanted in that I cleared another level of my health. And I came to the realization that each time I was doing one of these dry fasts, you know, it starts off as, you know, I'm just going to do one, get rid of Lyme disease or the after effect, but become a lifestyle for me where each time it takes me spiritually forwards. And healthy forwards. And in a way that things don't come back after, because you can do so many things and it just comes back just the same afterwards. But for me, dry fasting is that kind of perfect scenario, and probably the oldest healing system we have. It is just perfect, not just on a physical level, but on a spiritual level. And it's not just not eating and drinking. For me, I look at it as going off on a, whatever they're called, I'm dyslexic, I can't remember, on a retreat. And, you know, the fundamental, transcendental, ancient meditations, you know, there's so many new, convoluted, new age things, whereas with dry fasting, you just bite the bullet. You go on the journey, you go through the pain. You know, it's a rite of passage. It's not just taking a pill and, oh, I feel nice now. Nothing like that at all. But I don't think it's something I could stop now. And as long as my body can take it, I feel better doing 9-day dry fasts. I will do it because this is going on for quite a while. I will do another video. So do subscribe, because this will be a set of several videos. There's this one where I will teach holographic breathing, but I will do another one where I will talk more about holographic breathing as part of the fast, because it integrates with everything I've said. I use holographic breathing to process and work with everything I'm working with on the fast. And for massaging the organs, it is brilliant. So it just helps clear and integrate everything. So I don't want to go on too much longer, but I will teach holographic breathing so you can learn it in a gentle way. I'm not going to go into it in the depth that I was before, but I will do another video where I will talk just about the holographic breathing and its uses and its usefulness in this dry fast, and then teach it in a greater depth. So do subscribe, like this video, subscribe, or look on my channel, and there will be this video, there will be another one about using holographic breathing with dry fasting, there'll be one about the refeed, and there will be one about the blood work. So it is good to subscribe if you're interested in dry fasting, so you can look at all of that. So now I'm just going to teach holographic breathing so that people can learn that and do use it on your dry fast, and listen to those other videos so you can see it's not just to massage the body. There's all sorts of things. You won't get a dry mouth if you do holographic breathing on a fast. You won't. It just produces saliva. You won't get constipation at the end of a dry fast because it massages all of the organs and the diaphragm and all of the digestion system. You just go to the toilet. Normally it stops on a dry fast, but with the holographic breathing, you just go to the loo the same as normal and you just completely clear it out. So you come to the end of the dry fast and there's nothing there to get constipation with. So it means you don't have to do enemas beforehand, you don't have to do a special diet beforehand to get rid of that. You just do holographic breathing and you clear your digestion doesn't stop on the fast, you clear it out. So lots and lots, but I will talk more about that in a video tomorrow or when I get time. But anyway, let's just do that. I will teach you. This is an initiation. Got hundreds of videos on my YouTube channel, so visit those, work with those. And I do advanced webinars and therapist trainings with it. Come and join. Join my mission to teach the whole world holographic breathing. So I will describe and demonstrate it again, then we'll do the initiation where I'll take you into it in a guided meditation so you can learn it. So in holographic breathing, the lips are relaxed and closed all of the time. The tongue is relaxed and on the roof of the mouth all of the time. The breath is through the nose all of the time. And with the lips closed, with the tongue on the roof of the mouth, on the in-breath, the jaw gently opening, on the out-breath, gently closing. And it's a small motion, half a finger width, 2 or 3 millimeters. I will demonstrate it. You probably won't notice much, but you will notice it's relaxing and my lips aren't moving. And it's an instant hit. Instantly, I go into a deep meditative state. Now, you may hear a dog a bit in the background. It often comes out and barks, but we just have to let it be part of the meditation. Also, somebody is running their car like mad, but I guess we'll just have to let that all be part of the meditation. So if you're new and you've not done holographic breathing, very soporific, very easy to go to sleep. My voice sends people to sleep. The channels I work with send people to sleep. Holographic breathing sends people to sleep. If you don't get all of the information, it's not like you can half learn it. Like you need all of the ingredients. You need to do it for a while. You need to get the activation, and then you have it. So if you are new and it is the first time you've done it, it's good to do this seated so you're more aware and less likely to go to sleep. If you do go to sleep, just watch it again. Try and stay awake. All right, okay, so here we go. So we'll bring in some resources to start off with, then I'll take you through a step-by-step guide into the holographic breathing. So, closing your eyes and sending a smile, sending some energy to the earth, and allowing the earth to say hello back. And notice what that feels like through your body and through your energies. And sending a smile, sending some energy to the higher self and the beneficial energies, any spiritual energies, any higher divine energies that you wish to work with, as long as it's beneficial. Sending a smile, sending some energy to the higher self and the beneficial energies, and allowing the higher self and the beneficial energies to say hello back. And notice what that feels like through your body and through your energies. And asking the earth, the higher self, and the beneficial energies to be with you through this whole meditation as your guide and as your resource. So we will start moving into the holographic breathing. The lips are relaxed and closed. The tongue is relaxed and on the roof of your mouth. The tip of the tongue is close to or touching the front teeth, and it's as much as the tongue on the roof of the mouth as feels comfortable. It must feel comfortable and easy. So it may be 1/2 inch of the tongue on the roof of the mouth, maybe the whole tongue on the roof of the mouth, maybe 1 inch of the tongue on the roof of the mouth, whatever feels comfortable. There's quite a strong, I'll just mention it because it comes through in the videos, the energies come through in the videos. There's a really nice, strong, bright, white, divine energy coming through. I guess I'm still in the dry fast, I'm still quite connected up to the other side, but I kind of went into quite a deep relaxation there, and it was accompanied by this really lovely channel coming through, and people can connect to their own channels, divine realms. So the lips are closed, the tongue is on the roof of the mouth, the breath is through the nose. And now just letting the jaw go up and down, a bit like chewing, but keeping your lips closed. This is just to get the experience that you can move the jaw and have the lips closed. So the lips are closed, tongue is on the roof mouth, and gently moving the jaw up and down. You feel you can move the jaw with the lips closed. And now slowing that movement down, so vertical motion up and down, slowing that motion down. And when you feel ready, as the jaw is opening, letting the breath come in through the nose. As the jaw is closing, letting the breath leave through the nose. So we're going to start with this, kind of activating it from the mouth. So the mouth is activating the breath. It will change as we go through. Jaw is relaxing open. The breath is drawing in through the nose. The jaw is relaxing closed. The breath is leaving through the nose. It feels like a little bellows. It's quite physical. As the jaw relaxes open, it's only a small motion, 2 or 3 millimeters. The breath drawing in through the nose. As the jaw is relaxing closed, the breath is leaving through the nose. Feels like a little bellows. As the jaw opens, you can feel it drawing the breath in. As the jaw closes, you can feel the breath being expelled out through the nose. The lips are closed all of the time. The tongue is on the roof of the mouth all of the time. Relax the back of your neck. Relax the back of your head. On the out breath, the teeth are coming back together. They're floating back together. But there's no bite there. It's just they float together, and they can either just gently rest together or be slightly separate. But there's no pressure. The jaw is drawing open on the in-breath. The breath comes in. The jaw is closing, relaxing, closed. The breath comes out. We're now going to change the gestalt. We're going to move now to the breath, that the breath is moving the jaw. On the in-breath, the breath is coming in through the nose. The jaw relaxes open. The breath is leaving through the nose. The jaw relaxes closed. Notice that it becomes much more relaxed. Much more spiritual. Much more energetic. Breathing in through the nose, the jaw relaxes open. Breathing out through the nose, the jaw relaxes closed. The lips are closed all of the time. The tongue is on the roof of the mouth all of the time. On the in-breath, the chest is opening. The jaw opens along with it. On the out-breath, the jaw is closing. The chest is closing with it. It's integrating together. The in-breath, the abdomen is opening. The jaw relaxes open with it. On the out-breath, the abdomen is closing, the jaw closes with it. So you're no longer doing it, you're not doing this breath, it just becomes part of the breath. The jaw is just doing that with the breath. You don't have to do this breath work. It just starts, and then when you breathe, it is just going. Whole torso opening, the jaw relaxes open. Whole torso closes, the jaw relaxes closed. Notice how in a very subtle way your whole face has started to breathe, your cranium started to breathe, your brain has started to breathe, your neck has started to breathe, everything has started to breathe. It's opened a door. Your arms and legs, hands and feet, notice in a very subtle way they're breathing, and the jaw is breathing along with them. They've all synchronized and are breathing together. Notice how nourishing it feels. Notice how relaxing it feels. Notice how your brain has started to breathe, and your spine and your whole nervous system. Notice how you connect with the earth and the higher self. Notice how every cell is now breathing. Gently breathing with the holographic breathing, letting that gently move through your body. Notice how you can get a really nice, deep abdominal breath, how you can get down into your organs and digestion, into the pelvis, into the genitalia, that you can breathe with your organs, you can breathe with your digestion. Perfect for dry fasting, perfect for healing. Getting a nice breath into the abdomen, and notice how you have a deeper, conscious, qualitative experience of your organs. Deeply grounded, different energies of those organs breathing. They all have different energies, they all have different karma, they all integrate into the universe and a deeply healing modality, healing breathwork. Feel your heart and lungs breathing, everything, breathing and connecting with the original matrix. Gently breathing. Okay, in about a minute we're going to come back. So just gently breathing with that. Letting it breathe however it wants through your body, through your spine, through your organs, through your brain, through your arms and legs. And sending a thank you to the earth, thank you to the higher self and beneficial energies. Letting the energies go off for love and healing to the earth, for love and healing to the higher self and the beneficial energies, and allowing yourself to be loved and healed. And when you feel ready, gently allowing yourself to come back. So as I said, there's going to be probably 3 other videos to this series. So subscribe. It helps me if you subscribe, and also you will see all of my new videos and guided meditations. Please like this. There's free webinars, normally once a month. You can see those on my website. Link in the description below. There's advanced webinars, there's advanced therapist trainings, all on my website. So you can become involved in this as much as you wish. It is a deeply spiritual and transformational breath work in a way that nothing else that I know is. Deeply spiritual, deeply evolutionary, transformational. Heal your brain, connect you to the divine evolutionary energies, or whatever your sources are, the divine matrix, whatever you want, beneficial energies. All right, well, thank you for taking part, and I wish you well, and I hope to see you again. All right, bye.